We had a few questions about winemaking philosophy. So you talked a lot about Burgundy, where expression of place is very important, and it sounds like you brought that philosophy over to your West Coast wines, where obviously a different expression because it's a different place, but it's very much an expression of place. So, as one of the founders of In Pursuit of Balance, bringing balanced wines to California, how do you think that philosophy has progressed into some of what we call the cool kid California wines, different sort of wines that are popping out there when maybe a generation ago, California wines were seen as a little bit bigger and bolder. Just where do you think your philosophy falls into that whole progression of what California is today?
I think that when we did the IPOB tasting, when we did, our goal was to bring attention to California Pinot Noir and Chardonnay with some kind of balance, whatever that word means, because it means different things to different people. So we want to bring our energy and that to people to know that, California doesn't only produce 16% alcohol Chardonnay and Pinot. It also produces wines of nuance, wines of texture, wines of place. So that was the number one goal. And I think that we, for the most part, achieved that goal. Now, I think that we must individually, or if there is another group formed somehow, that we must push forward the idea about farming. We must think about viticulture at the highest level, minimum organic, minimum no herbicides, that kind of stuff. And then really kind of collectively as a group, try to kind of focus on the typicity of the place, like I know that some people want to make, want to pick much riper and correct a wine and showcase a wine. And some people want to just pick early and make it more naturally. And some people, the styles are whatever people want, but the wines need to have, a sense of place, right? In France or in Europe, all the wines are checked by committee who will give it, oh yeah, this smells like Cornas or like Sancerre or like Montalcino, and you have the nameplates on the label. But in our context, we didn't. So I think that if we have to take one step forward outside of the IPOB realm, I think that would be something I'll be very interested in doing, because I think that we must speak about how to take care of the soil, all the carbon output from the vineyard by tilling, or any kind of herbicides to kill the life in the soil.
We did have a lot of questions about that. We can circle back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Darren.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, to me, In Pursuit of Balance was more of like starting the dialogue, getting that conversation out and having people try wines that they probably wouldn't, not as much as us wine professionals, but other people trying a style of a varietal that they're not used to, sadly, because of what they're inundated with, like Raj said, a little bit more riper, over extracted wines. And I think it was very successful, yeah.
Yeah, and kind of dovetailing that before we move on to kind of viticulture, organics, natural winemaking, we may say that these sort of more imbalanced wines, or these like brighter, fresher, higher acid, these glue styles from Europe are very much in vogue right now, as compared to before the In Pursuit of Balance movement. Do you have any ideas of what the next trend might be, sort of going off of this, now that those are kind of so hot with wine nerds?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, I guess we can call it trend for now, but it's going to stay because there is a group of people starting from the millennials and then generation after them, they are going to want that kind of, let's not think about it, let's just drink it kind of idea. Like, it's not like they don't want to sit and kind of have a video chat with me and talk to me about the nuances. Maybe they'll get there and they have more time or access, but the younger, they want to just drink it. They want something delicious and they'll drink it. And that's why those glug glug wines are there. I drink my share of glug glug wine. I love serious wine. I love blind tasting. I love to think but we produce, Domaine de la Côte is not glug glug wine. Sandy is not a glug glug wine. You can drink it fast if you want to. It's like you could. The alcohol is not high, but there's nuance in the wine. Those wines will evolve in time. They will get better with age. But then there's other wines we make which are just crushable, just open a bottle and you can drink it. But I think that is going to stay. I think if it's a trend for now, and it's going to be a category. It's carrier now, but it's going to be more of a category.
Here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, the millennials will always just be able to pull this video up, and then they can have you talk about the wines. So, this will always be here. It's going to be on the internet forever.
Saved forever, immortalized. This is awesome. We got a lot of questions, talking about like from the glue glue to the natural wine movement, which is, a term that some wine people bristle at, some people struggle to define what it is. So a lot of people are interested in hearing your thoughts on what your preferred term is for natural wine. And Tristan has a few questions on that as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I think we can start with terminology and sort of go from there.
Unfortunately, I refer everyone to Alice Firing's book, her last book. Here's someone who has been a proponent and has been talking about natural wine and has published a book that is for everybody. So you can understand natural wine, what it means, because it means different things to different people. For me, if someone asks me, it's low intervention winemaking, so organic viticulture to start, the basic organic viticulture. That's basic. And then non-intervention, low intervention vinification in the cellar, so natural yeast, no acid, no sugar, no nothing. Then the question comes after that, sulfur, low sulfur, no sulfur. I think that now most people are okay with low sulfur, and some people are more kind of dogmatic of no sulfur at all. So I don't know. That's up in the air. I know that France has a new national wine definition. We'll see who all kind of take that and go with it, because I don't think that the diehard national wine guys, the OGs, they are not going to kind of just put a random classification of national wine on there. So we'll see. For me, in our mind, the wines we make are natural wine, but we are not going to sell wine on the notion of natural wine, because I think that, and not because we didn't start that way, it wasn't like in 2011, our first vintage of Domaine de la Côte, oh yeah, we are making natural wine, Pinot Noir, and no, we didn't start. We didn't say that day one, and now just because it's everywhere, I don't want to use that terminology and say, oh yeah, it's natural wine. Many of our distributors, our importers, our friends put us in the category. I pour at many natural wine tastings and stuff, but that will not, I'm never going to put, oh yeah, we are making natural wine. I do make a different set of wines under Raj Parr wines, which are natural wines. We started with the philosophy. We started with 0 sulfur wines, in some cases very low sulfur. And now that, yes, we call that natural wine because that was the intent from day one. Does that make sense? Or
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The new classification in France, like you said, the people that truly have been making wine and their philosophy is that the vineyards really are the source for wine. Are you afraid that that new classification will enable bigger wine to start getting involved in making natural wine now that there's a classification?
I think so. We already seen some people kind of doing that, but I don't know. I mean, you'll have to test every bottle. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, natural wine, whatever it is, it should taste. I mean, if you've drank enough natural wine, you know what the energy feels like.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe for newcomers who haven't tasted enough wine, maybe it's something else. But for me, I tasted, and I can feel the energy. And on the flip side, there's a lot of phony natural wine which is cloudy, and then it's Velcro, or if it's it's been totally fine and filtered and squeaky clean. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with There's nothing wrong with cloudy wine. There's nothing wrong with crystal clear wine which has been fined or filtered. It's fine. It's your decision to make. But I don't think people should be like calling natural wine and then it's like just tastes like nothing. Or there's a lot of people who are making like no sulfur wines and then just filtering them, because then what's the point of even calling it natural wine? You've just filtered out everything.
I think you have to bottle the wine microbially active and living. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Actually, we covered another question there. Someone did ask a question about the new French classification. And then that combined with it being Earth Day this week certainly had a lot of questions in this vein. You may have touched on it briefly, but if you want to go a little more into detail, in the light of climate change, has your response to that in vineyard management changed, if at all? Because it seems like that's always been your focus.
Oh yeah, no, it has changed and it's changing, just because of these crazy weather patterns that show up. It's like no rain in February, and then you get like 8 inches of rain in March in like 4 days, and so things like that, and how dry Oregon has become, because Oregon was like it was always like you could expect rain maybe in June, maybe in July, maybe in early September. And now you see that's like 18 was the driest year in the history. And the grapes, I mean, the wines are black. I mean, it's just so dense and concentrated, and 14% alcohol. No, we're not used to that. So that's something, and it's also, if you have a vineyard of that size, it's difficult to, you call one pick and then the other vineyards kind of sugar really accumulates fast, and you kind of like, shit, we missed it, or it's definitely not used to it, and those changes are definitely kind of bringing, we farm, we cultivate, totally like have nothing, like in California, we kind of cut all the weeds, everything's like there's nothing under the vine, it's totally clean cultivated. Whereas in Oregon, we leave cover crop, and it kind of stays, because the soils are quite moist, and it's also dry farm there. So we kind of alternate. We see what works every vintage. You take a chance and hope for the best. You can't really we're trying to use the no-till approach in some of the vineyards. It's already been farmed biodynamically since '08, and so it's just adapting and kind of using different things. Not use sulfur, use milk. Some people use whey. So just to kind of like, just it's a learning process. I don't think we'll ever stop. I think that's something we learn. We kind of use that and see how successful we are.
Yeah, and even in a good in the best case scenario, you only get a few dozen tries, with one harvest a year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you make one change in the vineyard or in the cellar, and it could make a drastic impact on the wine of the year for sure. either way, good or bad, it'll make an impact.
And I guess last sort of crowdsourced question along this line, very thought-provoking. You worked with Mimi Castile, sourcing fruit from her Hopewell vineyard for the Mimi's Mine Cuvée. No, wait, I may have confused that with Lingua Franca with Larry Stone. That's my bad.
No, we love Mimi. Mimi is great. So everything is positive on that context. She's amazing.
Yeah, so lots of hard work in the vineyard. It's, low yields, backbreaking work. So obviously these wines farmed in such a way demand a higher price than more conventionally farmed wines. And this customer wanted to know that, maybe if that's not quite at their budget, what are things they can do that they can kind of help support this important shift in viticulture and baseline organic.
The question. What was the question again? There was
if they don't, have, it's in their budget to buy like a $30 bottle of wine. What can they do?
So unfortunately, and I said this to someone yesterday, and it's Pinot Noir is just hard to grow. It's expensive to grow. I wish my grandfather had given me a vineyard and said, keep it and make wine from it, and I would make it and not pay any mortgage fees or any vineyard fees. That would have been the best case scenario. But in this world, you have to pay for the land, for the farming is expensive too. So if someone says, "Oh, give me a cheap bottle of Pinot Noir," it's going to taste like a cheap bottle of Pinot Noir, unfortunately. So I would, in that, say, maybe switch grapes, maybe go and drink some Gamay, or maybe go drink some crunchy red wine from the Canary Islands. Find something Pinot-esque in that category from someplace else, because Pinot Noir on its own, due to its low yield and the cost of farming, is going to be expensive. So
what you're saying is go to your local wine shop with friendly professionals who can help you find wine made using those practices in your price point.
Exactly. Well said.